Good day, everyone. Good day, my dear BSN English students. This is the last topic for our technical writing midterms, preparing an email as well as the email etiquette. Last week, we have discussed, the different parts of a business letter as well as the examples, the staple elements as well as the other elements. I also given you the different formats on how to write a business letter. Today, we will focus ourselves on how to prepare an email as well as the basic parts and some email do's and don'ts as part of sending email etiquette. To begin with, let's first define what an email is. Everybody knows that an email is from the word electronic mail because it is being sent digitally. A message being sent digitally via internet or computer network. Popular email platforms would be the Gmail, the Hotmail, the Yahoo Mail, the Outlook, and many others. So there are lots that you can use as part of the domain of your electronic mail. But commonly, we have the Gmail, we have the Outlook if you are using Microsoft. Okay, so let's dig deeper to the email etiquette. It refers to the principles or behaviors that one should use when writing or answering an email messages. So it is not just how you respond to the email, but how you prepare the email yourselves. So email etiquette are the standard behavior that you should follow. The one that I'm talking about, the do's and the don'ts when you write your email, as well as when you respond to it. We have the following importance why we have to follow such etiquette. The first one, if you had a bad email etiquette, it will reflect on your personality. If you are not responding well to email, it might give somebody a bad reflection on you. But if you can prepare a good email, it will reflect on you as well. It improves public perception and persona and increases the chance of a prompt and comprehensive response. So misunderstanding can be avoided if you can do or follow a certain email etiquette. A company needs to implement etiquette rules for the following three reasons. So these are the three main reasons, but I'm telling you this is not just limited to these three. The first one is, of course, to show professionalism, to show efficiency, and to show security or protection from liability, because there are lots of things that an email might bring you. So it can make or break a company or an organization if the email messages were not handled properly. Here are the basics or the general format and drafting of email writing. The first one is, before you start, yes, take note of this. Before you type anything into a new message, have explicit answers for two questions. The first question is, why I am writing this? Have you asked yourselves, why are you writing? Then, what exactly do you want, or what result you want to have? That's the first one. Begin with an end in mind or the purpose why you have to write. The next step is the from field. You are seeing that on your email, right? Your name needs to be displayed properly. For example, Tony H. Stark. Not Tony H. Stark or Tony H. T. Stark, or no name at all and only your email address. Proper capitalization is very important here because it will show your professionalism and good writing skills. When your name is in lowercase, you open the door to being perceived as a spammer, or worse yet, lacking education, because in English, we are practicing proper capitalization as well as punctuation. So you better write the from field correctly or properly. The next step is you consider the to field. Enter the email ID of the person to whom mail is for and seek that name is reflected upon writing the email. It provides an assurance that the mail ID entered is correct, because you will be receiving a mail delivery prompt that your email was unsuccessfully sent because you cannot find or you cannot locate the correct email address or ID. Pointing a cursor on the mail ID also show additional information. It can be his profession or profile statement or his display picture. So you can see the picture of the person whom you are sending the letter if that email is legit or valid, or these are already verified. Next, I know you are familiar with what I'm mentioning before, the CC field, the carbon copy. Why do we need to include CC or carbon copy in some instances? So here's the response. Use the field to include someone else on the message or conversation, but not necessarily indicate that this message is being sent specifically to them. Include addresses in the CC field for those who you are just informing. It means that carbon copy, you are just informing somebody that you sent a letter to a certain people. Carbon copied recipients are visible to all other recipients. That's why CC will appear. They will know, or the person receiving the message will know that you sent the same message to another person because the CC will appear on their profile. Only use CC when it is important for those use CC to know about the contents of the email. So it means you are just informing them about the contents of the letter. And then don't use or overuse the CC feature. This can clutter the inbox of you've contacted. Then we have the fifth, the BCC field, or this one is called the blind carbon copy. Use this when sending a long list of recipients or to recipients that should not know each other. However, BCC cannot be seen by anyone in the to or the CC field. So it's a good thing that you use BCC than CC if your list of recipients are too long or too many, that it would look unprofessional if they know that the same message has been sent to all or sent to many. And also, it will be giving confidentiality. So BCC will, yes, protect someone's email from being exposed to others without their permission. BCC might be just a way of letting someone see a message without actually including them on all the threads to follow. Because if you respond to a CC or the carbon copy, other person will be reading the response because it's carbon copy, it's visible to anyone. But in BCC, I believe that it will create more confidentiality because that BCC will only refer or visible to the person whom you send the letter with or you BCC with. Make sure when you BCC, your intentions are proper. And to others, it may be as a way of talking behind someone's back is inconsiderate. That's why we have that carbon copy. If you will remember before, meron tayong GCS in Messenger, but before, in older times, we have that what do you call to this yung in cell phone group messages. So yes, the same concept as CC. Everybody will see the message you have sent. But in BCC, yes, it is privately sent, but you send the same letter or content with. So now, let's have the subject line. Use a meaningful subject. A short, sweet, and well thought out. Make sure that the subject line reflect the content of your email. It is a good practice that you put a subject in the subject line for the recipients to have a glimpse of what the contents of your email is. And it's also good for document tracking or keeping. Because if you want to search on an email, you can just type the topic or the subject and presto, the email would appear in case that the letter was sent many days ago that need to be back read. So the subject line is a great help. And additionally, subject line is crucial in some cases that can help ensure your email gets opened. Yes. Keeping your subject 5 to 7 words that accurately identify the topic and context of your email is imperative. When you say imperative, it should be. Use logical keywords so the recipient can easily search for your email. Feel free to modify the subject field in ongoing conversation to reflect when the direction or topic of the conversation has changed. Then another reminder is not to include a greeting such as hello or greeting in the subject line because it's not part of it. You just put the topic in the subject line and greeting should be part of another field. So never use name in the subject line. Remember that, class. And another, for number 7, the greeting and salutation. Without a greeting at the beginning of your email, you risk being viewed as a bossy or terse. Take the time to include a hello or hi in the recipient's name. So it will create a very warm and welcoming attitude or mood to the one reading your email. Let's continue. How you type your contact's name. Example, Tony, Mr. Stark, etc. So it's indicative of the level of formality your email will portray. If you are talking or sending a letter to a person higher in authority, of course, you need to make your salutation or your greeting more formal. But if you are just sending a letter to a friend, you can send it in a more or a less informal way or less formal way. Here are some of the guidelines. The standard salutation must be, okay, you can use this one. The standard salutation is Dear Mr., then the person's last name. Using the standard salutation shows respect and professionalism. Use the person's last name if you have it or the relationship is new. This shows respect, of course. For example, dear Mr. Stark is preferred over Dear Tony because Dear Tony is less formal. And if you just met, you use the last name instead. If unsure about the person's title, write Mr., Mrs., or Miss, or the last name. It is acceptable to use a first name. Okay? Then, a friendlier salutation. Sometimes, emails are written using a less formal standard simply because the sender wants to be friendlier. For example, hi is friendlier than dear. This might be used even in cold communication, where the sender doesn't have a recipient's name. It is also used with the first name. As example, hi Jennifer. So business owners see greetings used in correspondence. It is an acceptable salutation but suggests a cordial business relationship rather than a formal relationship. This comes across as trying to be friendly and different but still considered as formal. Let's have the continuation. How you type your contact's name is indicative of the level of formality of your email. So here are the things that you should avoid. First, think about the person reading the email before you write the salutation. So you have the idea. When you are unsure of how to start a business email, err on the side of traditional salutations. Starting the email with hey is frequently seen among younger staff. You take a casual approach to everything. However, this is too casual for most business situations because of the potential disrespect felt by some recipients. Another salutation to avoid is to whom it may concern, unless you have absolutely no idea of the recipient's identity. This salutation suggests a blind email that does not have any relationship with the recipient. Most recipients immediately do see this as a blind email and they may discard it before reading it. It's better to keep things short if you don't have a lot of information. Hi is better than dear friend, even if you're not knowing or you don't have the name following the hi. Next, the body. How will we write the contents of our email? Here are some of the reminders. State the purpose of your email within the first two sentences. Why are you writing the letter? You tell it on the first two sentences. Be clear and be upfront. Be concise and to the point. Remember that reading an email is harder than reading printed communications, and a long email can be very discouraging to read. Complete, correctly structured and capitalized sentences that reflect proper grammar and punctuation are crucial to your message. Typing in all lowercase or all caps does not lend to easy communications and gives the impression that you are either lazy or illiterate. So take note of that, class. Easy language to understand and drafted in active voice. So I always tell you, whenever you write, you do it in active voice unless the action is given emphasis. So that's in the passive voice. Do not make an email longer than it needs to be. Still, when your message is long, warn the readers that the message is long. Create a summary of the overview of the message and create headings for each major section as appropriate for them not to be bored or not to read the contents of your letter, because I told you writing an email is far difficult than reading a printed communication. And of course, follow the standard structure and layout for the mails. Now, let's have the attachment. Do not attach unnecessary files. By sending large attachments, you can annoy the recipient and even bring down their mail system. Have a good virus scanner so as to prevent the recipient from sending documents full of viruses. Tell your recipient what the name of the file is, what program is saved in, and the version of the program. Example, the attached file is MS Word, .doc or .docx. Under the name, okay, the name is labfile.docs. If you use an open source word processor, send files as RTF or PDF. Refrain from sending large attachments, something over 500 kilobytes, when sending large attachments. Always zip or compress them before sending, because class, there would be instances, if it is more than 25 MB, it's directly attached to Google Drive. Refrain from sending large attachments, I'm telling you, because yes, it will be automatically saved to G Drive. And check your email before sending to see if you wanted to send an attachment but forgot to include it. Always verify if you already attached the file that you really need to send. And then the closing. By not having a proper closing, you increase the possibility that your email will be perceived as demanding or curt. Whatever or whether it be, thank you for your time. Sincerely, look forward to hearing from you, or warm regards. Use what is consistent with the tone and objective of your message. Without exemption, close by including your name. Put the final considerate touch to your emails. And here are some. Email closings for formal business. Regards. Yes, it's a bit stodgy, but it works in professional emails precisely because there's nothing unexpected or remarkable about it. Sincerely, are you writing a cover letter? Sincerely conveys the right tone for formal correspondence. Keep in mind that it's likely to come off as stuffy in more casual business emails. And then best wishes. A good blend of friendship and formality makes the sign of a safe but Say bet, but be aware in greeting cards vibe and use it when it fits well with the tone of your email. What if it is friendly business or email closings for a friendly business? Cheers! A recent study by the email app Boomerang rated cheers as the most likely sign off that isn't a thank you to get an email response. It works well if your email is friendly and conversational, but unless you're actually British or Australian, it may come off as an affected in more formal settings. Cheers, mate, like that. And then best. Best conveys best wishes in a cheerful, pitty way. If you get a lot of email, you know that nearly everyone uses the sign off. That familiarity makes it seamless in the same way that regards it seamless in more formal emails. The downside is that it can be safe and dull, especially if you want your message to be dynamic and attention getting. And as ever, this is a fine choice for people you build an ongoing working relationship with. It reassures your contact that things are as good between you and as they've ever been. Email closings for gratitude and request. Thanks in advance. According to Boomerang study, emails that include thanks in advance have the highest response rate. Maybe it's because the sign off expresses gratitude but also sets an expectation. You're saying that you'll be grateful when the person you're emailing comes through. In more formal circumstances, thanking someone in advance may come across as too demanding. So take care where you use it. Then we have the word thanks. A simple thanks is also a solid choice when you want to express gratitude. But just like thanks in advance, it can convey a tone of expectancy. Save it for when you actually mean to imply. And another is, I appreciate your help, input, feedback, or etc. There's never really a wrong time to express appreciation. So others which you should avoid, here are some of those closing. Love, thanks or regards, take care. Looking forward to hearing from you. Yours truly, nothing at all, name or initial, have a blessed day. So those are the things that you should avoid, or it might create a negative impression. Then the last part is the signature. An email signature has two jobs. The first is to attract the reader's attention, and the next is to convey information about you to the reader. So here are the examples of signatures in email. Name or surname, for example, best regards, name, surname, designation, and function. And yes, the sample is given here. Okay, the elements of a good email signature: name, title, and company, contact information, social links, logo optional, photo optional, responsive design, add disclaimers, legal requirements. So here's the example. Okay, again, name, surname, designation, function, the logo, name of the organization, the contact numbers and links. And then here are some of the disclaimer. This email and any attachment to it may be confidential and are solely for the individual to whom it is addressed. Any views or opinions expressed are solely those of the author and do not necessarily represent those of the business name. If you are not the intended recipient of this email, you must neither take any action based upon its content nor copy or show it to anyone. Please contact the sender if you believe you have received this email in error. So this is an example of a disclaimer. Here are some of the email structure and layout that you must take notice. First, font size and color. Do not write in decorative fonts with bright color. Always use matte colors. With fonts should be uniform throughout the mail. Changing fonts give a tacky impression. Keep your fonts colors and sizes classic. It is best to use 10, 11, or 12 point type and an easy to read font such as Arial, Calibri, or Times New Roman. Then we also have the character spacing. Try to keep your line length as 65 characters or less. Maintain a standard paragraph spacing between the body and the text. or the body text. And if your message is likely to be forwarded, keep it 60 characters or less. For sentence case, do not write in capitals. If you write in capitals, it seems that you are shouting. This can be highly annoying and might trigger an unwanted response in the form of a plain mail. Therefore, try not to send any email text in capitals. Another is the listen bullets. When you are writing directions or want to emphasize important points, number your directions or bullet your main points. For example, place the paper in drawer A. Click the green start button. Another example, I have a couple of questions. Here are some. How can we improve customer satisfaction? Will the proposal empower employees? So here are the use of the list and bullets as given emphasis or example here. And in the language, use proper spelling, grammar, and punctuation. Language, okay? Language not only important because improper spelling, grammar, and punctuation give a bad impression of your company. It is also important for conveying the message properly. Emails with no full stops or commas are difficult to read. It can sometimes even change the meaning of the text, and use the spell checking option if possible. Then here are some of the additional tips that you should consider. Additional tips for drafting and composing an email in a very precise and sound manner. Reply to all mails, answer swiftly, make it personal. Don't hesitate to say thank you or appreciate your help. Do not overuse the high priority option. Humor is riskier. Email jokes backfire. And take care with abbreviations and emoticons. Do not copy a message or attachment without permission. Avoid email fraud. Avoid long sentences. Use active instead of passive voice. Do not use email to discuss confidential information. And keep your language gender neutral. Don't reply to spam. The curse of surprises and separate facts from opinions. Additional tips in creating a good tone. Write in positive tone, just as a joke gets lost in translation. The tone is easy to misconstrue without the contrast you get from vocal cues and facial expressions. Accordingly, it is easy to come off as more abrupt than you might have intended. You meant straightforward, they read angry and curt. Another is to avoid misunderstandings. To avoid misunderstandings, read your message out loud before hitting send. If it sounds harsh to you, it sounds harsh to the readers too. And best results, avoid using an equivocally negative words. It's like failure, wrong, or neglected. And always say please and thank you, of course. Then inappropriate and better options, so let's compare. What's the problem? The better option is everything okay? Or can I help you? Another is the inappropriate, please help me. Better option, would you mind helping me with this? Another inappropriate statement, I want to cancel my appointment. Better option, could you please cancel? Or could I please cancel my appointment? Then another inappropriate, I want to know how. Could you please tell me how? Another, I need to reschedule. Is it possible to cancel my scheduled appointment? I have some problems here. I am having some difficulty. I want to know why. It could be I was wondering. I want to make an appointment with you. Do you have time to meet with me sometime this week? That's a better option. And last, could you explain it more to me? It would be better if you make this one. I'm not sure I understood X. Could we meet to discuss it further? Those are just suggested statements that will make inappropriate lines a better option. And if we are responding to email or making some action, here are some of the most common types. The first one, action. Recipient has to perform a physical action. Action should always have a deadline. Example, please provide the reconciled report on November 15 by the 10th December 15. Or reconcile report of November 15 by 10th December 15. So 2015 probably. Then respond. Recipient needs only to respond to your message. Example, can you attend the sub meeting on Saturday? Another is read only. Recipient needs only to read your message. Example, please read the attached HR action plan before the next HR meeting on December 12th. Another is for information only. Recipient needs only to file your message for future reference. Even reading the message is optional. Enclose for your record. So you can have that four most common types of actions in making an email or giving instruction to your email contents. And this would be the end of my discussion for email writing as well as email etiquette. And special thanks and credits to the contents of this discussion from Pranit Sutri or Surti, management consultant, BE Mechanical Engineering or Blue Seal Management Consultant. Okay, so thank you so much for the contents of this presentation as reference. And class, this would be my discussion, and this is also included in the midterm examination. So with that, goodbye and thank you.